So in this eye, what you can see is very obvious. You see that dark ring going around it. That's called a skin ring. Okay? It indicates that your kidneys are not filtering properly. It indicates that your thyroid is weak. So what happens is when the kidneys are not filtering waste properly, the skin will take the burden. But the skin is not as efficient as the thyroid in eliminating waste. So it will back up underneath the skin and just show as a skin ring. See that dark ring? The top part here is the hair and scalp region. Okay, you can see it's very dark, so there's potential hair and scalp issues arising. If you look closely, there's a dark ring going around the pupil. That's called a malabsorption ring. Indicates you're malabsorbed. And this right here at the bowels, you see that white line going around here? Okay, is the bowels. So it indicates you have a spastic bowels because you have it enlarged here in the ascending colon. Transverse colon is compressed a bit, and the ascending colon is enlarged as well. Okay, so when you get enlarged bowels, usually due to weak parathyroid. You can do the calcium utilization calcium is not being utilized properly, so the bowel walls will be weak. Okay, when you eat protein and starches, this will extend the wall and cause damage to the wall. So strengthen your parathyroid to strengthen calcium utilization. Okay, if you look closely, you have fine lines leaching out the pupil. This is called radii salaris. Indicates toxic tunnels of waste leaching out to other body parts and glands. It essentially means that this waste leaching out to other body parts, especially the brain section right here. So we got to clean the bowels. Go in the bowel strength tincture. Use a bowel strength bowel cleanser to move the mucoid plaque on the small intestines. Okay, because you do have mucoid plaque right here. Okay, you see the purple hue in the arterial pupil. That's cholesterol. There's potential eye issues arising. If you look closely, there's slight purple hue as well around. It's also cholesterol as well. Okay, high acidosis. The body will take cholesterol to bind to acids to protect you. That's what it's meant for. Okay, so you need to address this. 100% food diet will address it. See that yellowish color? That's weak liver, okay? And you see the red blood vessels here, that's acidosis. The body is acidic. So you have to alkalize your 100% fruit diet and at the very least a raw vegan diet. If you look at the eye, it's brown eye, right? But it's actually supposed to be very, very light brown. But this cloud-like structure, this thick cloud-like structure here is due to the fact that your kidneys are not filtering out metabolic waste. So the lymph system, the system that removes waste from your 100 trillion cells, is not being filtered by the kidneys. So you get this backup and you get this look in the eye. Okay, if you look close, you see that white line going around the bowels. It's called autonomic nerve weak. Indicates you have weak digestive system due to weak adrenals. And if you look closely, you do have fine lines going around the eye, like rings in a tree of a trunk. Indicates weak adrenals. Okay, so you got nervous system weaknesses. I would address the adrenals and use adrenal glandular and adrenal tincture. So right here is pituitary gland. Again, you see it's chronic, okay? Like the other eye, the pituitary gland is weak. We need to address this, okay? So I would use pituitary glandular and pituitary tincture or endocrine herbs to help strengthen this. The pineal gland is right here. This affects sleep, okay? If you don't fix it, you get sleep issues. It also affects hormone regulation. Remember that the pituitary gland is what's responsible for other endocrine glands, meaning it's the master gland. So if this is weak, all the other endocrine glands will be weak, like the pineal gland, which you see here, the thyroid, the adrenals, parathyroid, all these are controlled by the pituitary gland, and we need it in good working order. So use the endocrine tincture. For the pineal gland, you can also use an endocrine tincture to address it. Right here is the eye, upper jaw, nose, lower jaw, mouth, and tongue region. Okay, all heavy limb stagnation, congestion. These are the sinuses essentially. And as explained in the other video, you need to break the mucus in the sinuses. This is done by chewing horseradish roots, by using neti pot of eucalyptus oil, by doing eye washes, by doing steam inhalation with peppermint oil. Anything you can do to break up the mucus in this region should be done, okay? Do some ear candling, do some neurolymphatic massages at the back of the head and the upper back, do some hot and cold compression at the back of the head, anything you can do to get this relief. And that dark line right here hits the forehead as well, okay? That's close to the pineal gland. Right here is where the thyroid is located, okay? You can see it's heavy limb stagnation, congestion. There's mucus on it. There's also a nerve ring going across it. You gotta fix the thyroid. Use the thyroid lift tincture to help strengthen this region. So right here, see that dark line there? That's the thyroid, okay? And beside is the parathyroid. On top of it is the tonsils. The thyroid is weak, so I'll use a thyroid tincture, okay, called thyroid lift. The parathyroid is a gland that controls calcium utilization, okay? You get weak bowels, weak tissue, weak arteries, and venous system, etc. The integrity of any kind of tissue is regulated by the calcium utilization. So you need to address the parathyroid, okay? Use an endocrine tincture. The tonsils are the main lymph node of the head region. It what drains acids out or converts acids to lesser acids, which is then sent to the kidneys to be eliminated. So it needs to be in good working order. I would use the endocrine tincture and the circulation 1 tincture and neurological tincture as well, because you do have a lot of congestion in the brain region. So you need to put attention with the herbs, brain and nerve herbs. And we have it called neurological 1. Also using circulation tincture to help boost blood flow to this region. Right here is where the voice box is located, okay? And here is the esophagus region, here's the scapula. region. This is essentially a throat region. It's full of mucus. Use the respiratory T and the respiratory 1 tincture. This section right here is the upper back region. Right here is the middle back region. Right here is the lower back region. You can see the dark spot right here is hitting the back. Okay, the spine is right across here, so it's full of mucus congestion, and nerve rings hit it as well. So I would be on a circulation tincture here to address this. Right here is where the lower back is located, and right here beside it is the bladder. And the bladder and the lower back are correlated to the kidneys. When the kidneys are not filtering, these usually will reflect it. Okay, so work on the kidneys, but you can also use lower circulation tincture to help strengthen this region. And right here, this dark spot right here, here's the prostate, and right here is the penis region. You can see it's going to move with the chronic side. Use the prostate formula to help strengthen this region. Okay, it's very important. And that dark spot you see right there, that's the adrenals. Okay, you see you have chronic adrenals. Remember I told you have nerve rings, okay, and you also have the autonomic nerve root going around the bowels. That white line going around the bowels indicates weak nervous system. Okay, so and it's very prominent. So the adrenals are weak. Use the adrenal tincture. Use the adrenal glandular. The kidneys are right here. When the adrenals are weak, the kidneys will be weak. Okay, so we need to address this as well. So use the kidney tincture, use the kidney tea and kidney tincture as well. The adrenals control the kidneys. When they are weak, kidneys will be weak, and the kidneys will filter out metabolic waste, and you will have this lymph stagnation, the cloud-like structure in your eye. Okay, it's very important you get rid of it. Right here is the right foot, knee, and thigh region. You can see it's full of lymph, mucus. Okay, use the lower circulation tincture to help address this. And right here is where the groin, abdominal wall, and the pelvis region located. You see that dark spot here? That's the pancreas. Right here is the ovaries and testes. So ovaries in a female, testes in a male. Use the prostate formula as a male to fix this. It's very important. You can also use the circulation down tincture as well. So right here is where the diaphragm is located. Okay, and see that dark line going right there? That hits the gallbladder, and here's the liver. Okay, you can see it's the chronic side, and beside it is the arm and hand. Okay, the left arm and hand region. For the liver and gallbladder, I would use the liver and pancreas tincture we have, okay? Because you not only addressing the liver and gallbladder, you're also addressing the pancreas. And they're both compromised. The liver is a chemical factory of the body. It's what transmutes chemicals in the body, very important. And the gallbladder is what helps with fat digestion as well as protein and carbohydrates. So those need to be in good working order for healthy digestion. This section right here is the ribs, chest, and thorax region, okay? Heavy lymph stagnation congestion. You can see it's quite heavy, okay? You want to address this, okay? Because it's full of mucus and the nerve rings going across it, okay? It's moving to the chronic side. So I would use the respiratory 1 tincture and respiratory T to help address this region. Right here is the lower and upper lung region, okay? Also heavy mucus and lymph stagnation. I would use the respiratory T and the respiratory 1 tincture. And the shoulders are right here, okay? You can see. Also moving to the chronic side as well. If you notice, you see those dark lines right here, they're hitting the lung region, okay? You want to use the respiratory T and the respiratory 1 tincture. There's also nerve rings going across it. So right here is the neck and the ear section. And this section right here is the mastoid, medulla, and cerebellum, okay? These are compromised with mucus and there's nerve rings going across it. The mastoid and medulla are used for dizziness, equilibrium, balancing, okay? So when they are compromised, you have an issue. Cerebellum is the main hard drive of the brain, is what sends information from the brain to the rest of the body to move, to take action. So this needs to be addressed. Use the neurological 1 tincture and use the circulation tincture to help address this. The libido is also right here, okay? Sex drive. So this has to be taken care of, okay? Use the lower circulation tinctures, use the neurological 1 tincture, use the circulation tincture, and you'll be addressing all these. So overall, this eye, as I mentioned before, you have heavy lymph stagnation. This is due to the weak kidneys and weak adrenals. You have very weak adrenals, so use adrenal glandular. The bowels are compromised, they're weak. You have a malabsorption ring. Okay, the head, the brain section is full of mucus and compromised. So you need a neurological 1 tincture. Okay, clean the sinuses, clean the bowels. The hair and scalp region also compromised as well. It will get bad if not fixed. Okay, it might get bad if not fixed. Overall, this eye is going to take a bit of time. You see all the yellow you see here, that's liver weaknesses. As I showed you clearly, you have a liver issue. Okay, and the red blood vessels show high acidosis in line with the high cholesterol. Cholesterol ring, which shows high cholesterol. Okay, so these need to be taken care of. When I say high cholesterol, it doesn't necessarily mean the actual high cholesterol in the body. It means that the body is using cholesterol to bind to acids. Okay, so therefore it produces cholesterol, and cholesterol is used as a defense mechanism to protect you against metabolic waste and acids. So you need to take care of that by going and have some food down and using the herbs I just recommended.